welcome to the property news on Magic Bricks Now, India's first property channel. I'm Amita Balachandra. Let's take a look at the top headlines at this hour. Maharashtra government goes all guns blazing on the real estate regulator. Magic Bricks Now gets exclusive information that the draft will be tabled in a month and an interim regulator will also be appointed simultaneously. In NCR, the project delay story gets murkier. Home buyers in a BPTP project allege the developer has given different buyers differing dates of possession for flats in the same building. Big push for transparency and ease of doing business now. Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation will give building approvals online from July. The urban debate goes on ground. Thane Municipal Commissioner Sanjeev Jaiswal gives Magic Bricks Now exclusive insights into the road ahead for Thane. Big push for a slum-free, clean, green and well-connected Thane. Starting off with our big story today that should bring cheer to home buyers in Maharashtra. Magic Bricks Now has exclusive information that the state government is determined to give you a regulator within a month. Ruchi Deshpande tells us exactly how the state proposes to go about it.
A month from now is when the Maharashtra government will set up an interim housing regulator. Now, what we learn from sources in the Maharashtra government is that the state is currently in the process of drafting the rules for this state housing regulator, and a month from now is when these rules will be tabled by the Maharashtra government, and they will simultaneously appoint an interim regulator as well. Now, after these draft rules are tabled, they will be thrown open for suggestion and objection for a period of 3 weeks to the general public, after which the draft will be finalized. Now, what we learn from other sources is that MOFA, that is a Maharashtra Ownership Flats Act, and RERA will coexist in the state. What we also learn is that the facility for deemed conveyance may be retained by the Maharashtra government, and furthermore, the state will also set up 2 courts at the state as well as the district level for an appellate tribunal for this housing regulator. And last but not the least, the escrow account amount that stands at 70% right now may be reduced by the Maharashtra government. Remember that RERA mandates that 70% of the money collected from the buyers should be put in an escrow account.
Well, clearly big news there. Maharashtra regulator in a month. Ruchi Deshpande getting us our exclusive. Moving on now, Magic Bricks Now has been consistently raising the issue of project delays in the NCR market. But the next story that you will see is a different ballgame altogether. After paying nearly half the cost for their under construction homes, 150 home buyers in BPTP's Gurgaon project discovered that each of their agreements has a different date of possession. Suesha Sawant gets us this report.
Major R.K. Lakra and Srinivas Vardhan booked homes in BPTP's Esther Garden in Gurgaon nearly 4 years back. Major Lakra bought unit number 184 in C block on the 2nd floor, and Srinivas bought unit number 187 on the 1st floor in the same block. According to the agreement Major Lakra signed, he should have got possession of his 2nd floor home in January 2015. Meanwhile, Srinivas, a home buyer in the same building, was promised possession of his 1st floor home in October 2015.
I mean, somebody else who would have signed a builder-buyer agreement, let's say in January 2012, would technically be liable to get his or her unit in next to my house itself, probably in January 2015. While because I had signed in October 2012, I would be liable to get my possession in October 2015, right? So it has no connection with when the construction started, when we started paying for the construction.
I took up a case with BPTP that this is a one-sided agreement. I will not sign unless you give me certain clarifications, which they never gave. They said it's an agreement you have to sign. I even wrote to the Competitions Commission of India, but they said we don't interfere in such things.
Within, I think, 4 months, they took almost 40% from us. Again, the construction was very fast. By February 2014, which was in a period of around 18 months, they had taken almost 90% of the payment. After 2014, everything stopped.
Buyers are a worried lot. Most of them have discovered this discrepancy after they have paid up more than 40% of the home cost. What's more, they allege that they have seen no work on ground in the project since the last 2 years. Buyers also allege that the builder-buyer agreements they've signed are one-sided. For instance, in case of a delayed payment, the customer allegedly has to pay an interest of 18% compounded quarterly, while BPTP pays at the rate of 10, 20 and 30 rupees per square foot of the built-up area with every corresponding 6 months of delay.
At Magic Bricks Now, we reached out to the developer to get their side of the story. Although the BPTP management refused to come on camera, but they sent us an email response saying that the company is trying to stick to the delivery schedule. The delay, if any, should not cross a period of more than 6 to 8 months for their project BPTP Estaire Gardens, and they claim that they should be able to hand over possession for this project between September 2016 to March 2017. When we asked the company about why different home buyers had different dates of possession, we did not get clear answers, but they did say that the agreements promise possession within 36 months from the date of signing the agreement.
BPTP also claims that buyers did have the option of exiting the project at any point in case they thought that the builder-buyer agreement did not favor them. However, buyers did not consider the option as most had already made 40% payments even before signing the agreement. Moreover, as per the exit clause, they would have to forfeit 25% of the amount, which would mean huge losses for them. The home buyers are now contemplating legal action. Suesha Sawant, Magic Bricks Now.
Meanwhile, homes are set to get costlier in Noida. That is what we're hearing from our sources in NCR. The Noida authority is all set to announce a rise in land allotment rates across all categories of land use other than commercial. Deepa Rana gets us more details.
The Noida authority is all set to hike the land allotment rates in the Noida region. Now basically what this means is that land is going to be sold at a higher rate to the developers, which is going to trickle down to home buyers like me and you. Also, my sources in the Noida authority tell me that this hike is going to be exactly by 14.9%. There is a major consensus in the Noida authority, and soon a decision on these lines is going to be announced as well. Now the Greater Noida authority and the Yamuna Expressway authority have also last year announced land rate hike. Like the Greater Noida authority had announced a hike by 4 to 49% in April 2015, while the Yamuna Expressway authority had announced land rates hike in January 1, 2016. It was implemented by 5 to 20%. However, there is also a source tells me that Greater Noida authority will once again try to hike the land rates in a meeting scheduled next week.
Moving on to a Magic Bricks Now exclusive now. Big cheer coming in for home buyers in Ahmedabad after Delhi and Mumbai. Now the Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation will give building approvals online from July end this year. This move comes as a big boost to the ease of doing business. My colleague Disha Shah gets us exclusive details.
After Delhi and Mumbai, now Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation is all set to go digital. Starting July this year, now the corporation will give building plan approvals online in the city of Ahmedabad. This of course comes as a big push to ease of doing business, as now developers will no longer have to go to the corporation and physically submit their building proposals online. Now all what they have to do is just log on to www.ahmedabadcity.gov.in, where a developer will have to submit their proposals online, and the corporation aims to approve it in less than 30 days. In fact, to make developers more aware about the online approval system, the corporation is also planning to set a facilitation center at the headquarters, where the corporation will help filling the applications. Not only a developer, but as a home buyer, if you have bought any property in the city of Ahmedabad, you are also here as an advantage position, because as a home buyer you will be able to check the project status online, and information regarding each and all your project will be available online, and that too absolutely free of cost. Remember remember, this move comes right after the Urban Development Minister Venkaiah Naidu proposed that not only Delhi and Mumbai but other municipal corporations should also have an online system where the corporation should approve all the building proposals online and should give approvals in less than 30 days. So this, of course, is a big push to ease of doing business. This is Disha Shah for Magic Bricks Now.
Now, to get us the industry's perspective, we caught up with Neil Thakkar, Director of Dharma Dev Infrastructure, and asked him if this will make the process of getting approvals easier, bring in transparency, and ultimately help home buyers in Ahmedabad. Listen in to what he had to say.
So I think the transparency between the government, the customers and the developers will be eased, and mainly the delay of the projects, which is mostly due to the approvals. I think developers can complete the projects on time and deliver it to the customers. They have a time period in a month, so I think the delays which are caused due to the approvals, I think that will be stopped and customers will get their homes on time. They will have a check on the project by day-to-day basis on the construction and where the funds have been managed. So I think it will be very transparent after this law comes in place.
Straight up to a Magic Bricks Now exclusive, iconic projects lined up for Thane. Vision for a clean and green Thane. Big push for ease of doing business in Thane. This is the word coming in from our big exclusive with Thane Municipal Commissioner Sanjeev Jaiswal as the urban debate goes on ground to connect people with the administration. The government is optimistic about transforming Thane in the coming years. Listen in.
Nearly 50%, if I'm not mistaken, of the citizens of Thane live in slums. It's a challenge that you've personally, I know, pushed very hard for from the time you took over. Give us the status of where you are on slum rehabilitation and how your plan is going to be different, and I'm going to be slightly hard here, different from the city of Mumbai, which, let's be honest, has not managed to solve its slum problem at all.
You see, as far as the slums are concerned, as you rightly said, that out of, as per the 2011 census, out of 18 lakh population, roughly around 8.59 lakh is the slum population. So that's roughly 50%. Now, as regards tackling the issue of slum is concerned, it's a very ticklish issue for the simple reason that, people want to be rehabilitated, but at the same time, they don't want to move out from the place where they are staying. Because it is just not the physical dwelling units which we are talking about. It's also, the economic livelihood is also linked up to that. So the work in the vicinity and all that. Now, with the Honorable Prime Minister having announced the PMAY, that is the Pantra Pradhan Awas Yojana, as far as the vertical one is concerned, the vertical one pertains to the slum dwellers. The responsibility of their rehabilitation has been given to SRA, that is the Slum Rehabilitation Authority. And as far as the vertical 2 and vertical 3, which are the project affected persons or those people who are living in the non-notified slums, these people are to be rehabilitated as per the housing plan that you make by the concerned corporation. Now we are trying to push up the matter with the state government and requesting them that the SRA responsibility should be handed over to the CO as a CO to the municipal commissioner, because it makes more sense, but that's a policy matter. Now, as I said to you that as far as the slum notified is concerned, notified slums are concerned, the SRA is working on it. But what we have done as far as Thane Municipal Corporation is concerned, which I feel will definitely show the results in the coming years, is that we have been lucky enough and the government has been kind enough to approve our cluster policy scheme.
Okay.
And the final notification is just at the stage of issue. Now there's a certain High Court consent which is awaited. And basically what it entails is that once the cluster policy is implemented in the city, then this would be tackling the issues of the so-called dilapidated or the illegal buildings, including slums. So basically, if there's a tenement which is in the range of around 10,000 square meters or even 4,000 square meters, whatever be it, it is very haphazard today. It is unorganized. It is unplanned. And the basic amenities as far as the civic issues are concerned is in a very pathetic situation. Now, cluster policy would be a new window which shall open up all these areas to be tackled, including the slums, in the near future. I am hoping that the High Court would give the approval to implement this scheme very soon.
I'd like to thank about whatever action you've taken on Kalwa, Mumbai and Thane. But unfortunately from Kalwa the situation is horrible. As the road from Karegaon Fatak to Kalwa, you can say it almost more than a year work is going on. And still there is no end. We are suffering a lot. So that's why we don't think that we are monsoon ready.
No, again, I would like to differ with you. You see, when we talk about being ready for the monsoon, it is more so in terms of the preparation for the rainfalls and for the waterlogging and for the flooding and the flash flood which takes place. What you have rightly pointed out, these are the infrastructure projects of, either the connectivity improvement in Kalwa or the periphery. Now, the Kharegaon ROB which you mentioned about, you see, it has got stuck up because of the land issues pertaining to the Mafatlal complex which you are aware of. And that you really, it is not something which is an immediate creation of this year. This is a project which has been pending for quite a few years. Definitely, if these projects take off, then obviously the traffic woes in that area would reduce. I know I have received a few complaints from some citizens and maybe some suggestions also either in the form of WhatsApp or on mail or through SMSs, saying that whatever debris or silt has been removed from the nalas or from the storm water drainage are yet to be shifted to the dumping ground. We are in the process. So, what the basic point, again, at the cost of reputation, infrastructure projects, like suppose that I also know the connectivity for the city, metro is very important. Metro has been announced yesterday by the Honorable Chief Minister. Now, if metro or the Ghodbandar bypass road or the Kharegaon Kalwa link road, these are linked up to monsoon readiness, I think that is extending it a bit too much. But yes, your points are well taken and I appreciate the points that you have raised. We are following up the matters, but it is not directly related to this year's monsoon.
Moving on, shocking news from Chennai. RTI activist J. Parasmal was hacked to death by an unidentified gang on Baker Street at Periamet in Chennai. The Chennai-based whistleblower had exposed several building violations and illegal power connections. The chilling incident happened on Wednesday when he was on his way to the office. As per police sources, the murderers' gang came in auto and 2 bikes, and after chasing him down, they killed him with cleavers and sickles. Times Now's Vijay sent us this report.
In a shocking incident here in Chennai, a financier turned RT activist Parasmal, a 58-year-old person, was brutally hacked to death in broad daylight in Chennai area of Periamet. Mr. Parasmal was an activist, especially filing RTIs against departments like the revenue department, against builders, against illegal construction. Earlier he was been attacked thrice already is what the family members have been saying.
Now Vijay also caught up with J. Parasmal's lawyer and his relative. Listen in.
He has written a lot of letters against the department, like inquiring, for example, why the road was not laid and why an officer is more than 10 years, 15 years in particular department, why he's not been transferred, and all against, this builder mafia, this lot of, unauthorized building. And he has written a lot of letters to the department asking why there is a lot of violation of building in the city and asking them to take an action. So I think that could be the motive, behind against the murderer. Looks like on prima facie.
Who do you suspect behind this? Has it any names that have been come out?
No, I think the police are inquiring. It's an initial stage. We don't know. I think they are inquiring the matter. They have collected the CCTV footage, and probably what I feel that he has written a lot of letters against the department and against the builder lobby and all those things. I think let the investigation goes on, and then only the truth will come.
So it is not according to what reports suggest that due to personal gains he was writing this RTA activist.
No, not absolutely. He was not writing against any personal. He was always writing for the social cause. It was not against the personal. And there were earlier attacks. There were already 2-3 attacks were on him in 2013, 14, and all things. I think police will look into all those things, attacks, and I'm sure in a short span of time we'll come to know who was the culprit behind all those things.
He is just like to RTI and helping the government. He was one of a government servant, we can say, helping the government in all the government issues like legal, illegal construction and all. He used to get reported against the officers also. He used to just give a statement. He used to tell them, don't do like this is illegal, and he used to warn them also. A lot of officers were also scared with him, with his activities, and they also were very much scared.
Meanwhile, the police has now arrested one auto rickshaw driver based on CCTV footage that was confiscated from the spot. Investigations are still on. All possible angles are being probed. Of course, on Magic Bricks Now, we'll continue to keep a close tab on this case and bring you regular updates. Moving on, some hope coming in for Deona residents. Finally, authorities wake up and dedicate 12 hectares of land in Deona's dumpyard for a waste-to-energy plant. 12 million tons of garbage is dumped in Deonar every day. This treatment plant will convert 2,000 metric tons of garbage to energy every day. Ironically, the move to set up this plant comes as another fire breaks out in a Kalyan dumpyard, where the court has recently lifted the no construction ban. 4 fire tenders were rushed to the spot to douse these fires. Magic Bricks Now asks, when will Mumbai have a concrete garbage disposal plan? Moving on to interiors now. When we look for decorations or designs for our home, many a time we're unable to picturize exactly how it would look in our homes. Now, if you've always wanted to see how exactly your home decor purchase will look like in your home, then take a look at INV, a contemporary home decor store, where you can virtually experience how the designs would look in your home.
You told me a while ago that there are some products you do import. Now, since you cater to the Indian audience eventually, how do you make sure that within those products you still give that Indian touch to it?
See, when we import the products, we actually import a whole contemporary lifestyle. And in our store, even though we import so much, we still have 40% to 50% of stuff which is from India. So what we try to do is the ones which we make in India actually are with the Indian colors, and the imported products are there to break it. So it's basically to merge with it, and it really stands out. That's really when the unique combination comes out, because what we make here in terms of textiles, in terms of furniture, is completely, with a little bit of Indian aesthetic. Like we have hand-carved headboards, which is definitely used to be worked out in palaces in India, but we've given a complete contemporary touch to that. Now, to add to that, we would actually put a modern crystal lamp along with it, which kind of blends it.
Okay, so it's always a combination that works.
Absolutely.
And never in isolation.
No, not at all.
Right. And I have to ask you this, since you offer such a huge variety of products. Now, amongst those different categories, what are some of your hottest picks?
Some of my hottest picks would be, there is a unique marble hand chair, which, once when you enter the store in Mumbai and in other stores also, it's a very unique handcrafted piece from a single block of marble. The second piece I would speak about is sculpture which we imported from Paris. There is this sculpture called Dardek. Unique pieces, there are only 20 pieces around the world. We have one of them. And some more pieces, we have a beautiful hand-carved, bed, which is about almost, I think, 35 to 40 years old wood has been used to make that. So some of those products really make it very unique. Each and every product which we have picked, and it's all handpicked by me and Ritika. And at INV, we have a story. I mean, there's a reason why we picked that up. Would you use it? Would you not use it? Oh, I would love that in the bedroom. There's a whole story. I mean, that material itself, there are unique materials which you would find. There's so many material compositions which are there in our store.
With that, we've run out of time on the show. It's a wrap on this edition of the Property News on Magic Bricks Now. Thank you for watching.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magic Bricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.